What's going on, boxing fans? I'm back here with another video here set for you guys. Gonna be talking about and giving a recap to the Amazon Prime PPV by PBC, the Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios pay-per-view headline. We're on this card. We had pretty decent matchups to be able to sink our teeth in, to be able to see what we can be able to get from across the street on the PBC side of things. And obviously, we start this main card with Joet Gonzalez versus Brandon Figueroa. And from the jump, I'm going to be very honest with you about this one. This is boxing politics 101. You have a name or a star that you want to be able to continue to build off of, that being Brandon Figueroa. And it is a close and competitive fight because Figueroa has a light under his ass because his coach is trying to be able to push him forward to actually start winning rounds. And Joet Gonzalez actually outperformed, outworked, and out hustled Brandon Figueroa throughout the majority of this fight that was going on. Especially, I would want to say from the first two, I would want to get to like the 8th or ninth round. And the last 3 to 4 rounds, Figueroa did really well, and he took those rounds. Maybe one of the earlier rounds, or maybe two of the earlier rounds, that being like round 3 or 4, maybe can go to Figueroa's way. But really, Joet Gonzalez had a tremendous performance, a breakout performance where he's not that known of a name, doesn't have a great resume or record as well, and is just really a dude that was put in front of Figueroa to be able to get a win, get momentum swung his way, and be able to build on next to his career so that way he can be having a bigger and better fight for himself so he can get a little bit more money out of a money fight, yada, yada, yada. You already know the rundown of boxing politics 101. Figueroa, credit to him. The last 3 rounds, he really did push on forward and was really strong. And I think he did a lot better pushing the pressure, landing the harder shots, landing more accommodations. It really started to bust up Joet Gonzalez's face. But again, throughout the majority of this fight, Joet Gonzalez was outworking and just outboxing Brandon Figueroa, where Figueroa just seemingly was stuck in this starter position where he couldn't be able to get out and to go into that first or second gear. While he was stuck in first gear, he couldn't be able to shift in second or third, so he was just waiting and trying to be able to bide his time and was still making things competitive. But again, Gonzalez was doing the better work out of these two guys, and it's just unfortunate to be able to see that. But this is never going to be able to stop. This will always continue to be able to happen. If it is a close competitive fight and it's close, maybe 7-5 Gonzalez, 8-4 Gonzalez, but some people may see it 6-6 Figueroa's way. They're going to be going to lean to the A side more often and lean more that way, and possibly either lend it to be a draw or a potential victory to the other guy, that being the A side. And that obviously is something that's going to happen, especially this being the start off of the main card. This is probably going to be something that's going to be swept under the rug. Not a lot of people is going to be caring about it or talking about it at all. So it is my duty and my job that I call this as non-biased and down the line that I am able to do. And yeah, it was just very unfortunate to be able to see that. But yeah, money runs boxing and so does politics, and that's just how the world works. Anyways, moving on up the card, we got the return of Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Unfortunately, we did not get the highly anticipated rematch with him and Angel Fierro, but we did get a replacement of Omar Salcedo, who was supposed to be fighting on this card, but fighting under the main card, under an 8-round fight. But now he jumped in and took the big jump up, I'm hoping, in terms of pay, to go against Isaac Cruz and go into a 10th rounder. And this is the typical run-of-the-mill Pitbull Cruz fight that we're going to be able to see. If we see him against another highly touted type of boxer type or guy towards his level where things can be competitive, then it will be. be. But against lower level cans like this, Isak Pitbull Cruz is going to be having this type of performance where you already know his style. His style is very entertaining. It's very front forward. It's Mexican style all the way. High guard coming in forward with the pressure. Not really good in terms of technique or how he's able to do things and not being able to cut off the ring effectively, but he does it every now and then pretty good. But comes in with this forward pressure, has pretty good power in his hands, and literally throws everything his way. Has a great chin as well. And he just completely dominated Salcedo from the onset, getting a knockdown as well in this fight. It was, again, I can be able to talk about it round by round, but that would do nothing because it was literally the same thing every single round, where it was Pitbull Cruz walking Salcedo down, landing hard shots to the body, landing hard shots over the top. Salcedo showing that he has some heart and determination and is taking some punishment his way, trying to be able to move and box and get out of the way of some of these shots that are, really missiling towards his head or to his body. And sometimes he evaded it, and most of the time it was going to be able to land against him. And yeah, that's pretty much what we got out of this one. Hopefully we can be able to rebook the Pitbull Cruz versus Figueroa 2 fight because that first one was an absolute banger from the jump. Those styles that mixed up next to each other, those two guys, was absolutely a match made in heaven. But in this one was a good, get back on track, get a good win, which was supposed to be the fight against Fierro, a bounce back, get back on a win, get back on momentum type of fight for him. But this one was the one instead in case against Salcedo where he just got his way and did what he needed to be able to do and got what he needed to be able to get out of Salcedo, and that being in a Pitbull Cruz way. And hopefully we can be able to get him now. Again, if not the rematch against Fierro, hopefully another big matchup that brings value in terms of entertainment that we can be able to, if not put as a headliner, maybe a co-headliner that is definitely going to get the Mexican crowd roaring to get Pitbull Cruz back out there and potentially a big money fight for him as well. But yeah, besides that, maybe hopefully we can get something much more out of that. And to the co-main event we go, and that was Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora 2. Another rematch that was booked on this one, but this one didn't fall through. This actually went through forward with this one as a fight, and this is exactly what it was going to be once again. An absolute war until it was not anymore. In the first round, Sebastian Fundora lands a nice, I believe, left hand right on the button of Tszyu, chins him badly, gets a knockdown, and then from the onset, especially going into the second round as well, Sebastian Fundora is just completely annihilating Tszyu. Tszyu with his static defense of just having his hands up high and still getting hit and getting pierced through in the guard was just getting walked down, dogged walk very easily. And in terms of this one compared to the first fight where it was very close and competitive, this one was just having Fundora just completely mauling Tszyu in this one, where he was certainly taking control and vehemently making sure that he was the one that was going to be able to come out on top on this one. Where Tszyu had his moments, he recovered after and had a pretty good round 3 to be able to, come back and, make his way to be able to get back into this fight. He didn't win that round, but he did, made sure that, he wasn't just a dead dog in the water and he wasn't out of there. Into the fourth and fifth round, things are getting more close and competitive. Tszyu is starting to land more to the body with his straight rights, landing his right hand over the top, and just having, Fundora not moving his head off the center line and always staying in the same place and continuously landing those shots over and over. We started to see Tszyu starting to swing some momentum towards his way, potentially start winning rounds, potentially getting more confidence and wanting to be able to turn tides his way and really start hurting Fundora with a few shots. But Fundora seemingly just walked through them, didn't really care about whatever Tszyu was throwing his way, and everything that Fundora was throwing to Tszyu's way, it was just breaking Tszyu even more down to the point where A lot of the power shots that Tszyu was landing, it seemingly didn't have as much sting as it used to beforehand. Where before these matchups that he used to be able to get into, Tszyu and his power just seemingly, whenever he touched you, it really started to hurt you and started to break you down. And ever since then, and the Bakram KO, and then him coming back with Joey Spencer and getting that nice win back in his career, but now against Sebastian Fundora once again, Fundora just is walking him down, pinning him in the corner, having him just pierce through the guard and landing these hellacious shots against Tszyu. Then we go into the seventh round, and Tszyu starts to be able to land again more right hands and is starting to hit Fundora hard, blooding the nose and having some marks on the face of Fundora. But Fundora just started to consecutively counter with these uppercuts and continuously just hurts and just hits the chin of Tszyu and eventually gets a stop in the corner, and Sebastian Fundora retains his title belts and gets another victory over Tszyu and continuously looks like the most promising and worst matchup for anybody else in the 145 division, because the power, the reach, the lankiness, him being able to fight on the inside and the outside, Sebastian Fundora must be an absolute nightmare to be able to go against, because I mean he's just a problem, man. He just really is. And unfortunately for Tszyu, this is just gonna be his career, man. He hasn't changed anything in terms of his defense and his head movement. This is just the guy that he's going to be towards the end of his career. Just pretty much a name, some name value out of Australia, similar ilk and type of breed as a George Kambosos, who had the title belt, has hype and name behind him a little bit, and is as a known name, but is probably going to be a stepping stone as of right now for other prospects to be able to move forward in their career. As a chinny guy, but has some good power, can be able to crack, can be able to throw shots in with speed and combination. But other than that, Tszyu is pretty much just a another guy as of right now, for being quite honest. And we move on to the main event, and that was the return of the legend himself, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, returning to the ring after a 4-year hiatus where seemingly it looked like he did retire from the game of boxing, now making his return against one of the worst champions that we have in boxing as of right now in the 147-pound division, that being Mario Barrios. Obviously, Pacquiao wants to be able to take advantage of this opportunity, even though at his age, that being 46 years old, against a guy like a Barrios, because Barrios, especially coming off a draw against Abel Ramos in a very close competitive fight where he was real dominant early on, but then faded late in that fight and got knocked down himself as well. It was seeming like an opportunity that Pacquiao just couldn't be able to just give up, because it was just literally right there for him to be able to take, especially with still his name value, the Filipino and Asian crowd behind him, and his Muslim boxing fans behind him as well. It just seemingly seemed to be the perfect storm to be able to capitalize on for Manny Pacquiao to be able to take charge and get a victory over a guy or a name like a Mario Barrios and put himself back into the rankings and have something for a legacy for his name, as well as holding on again for another reign for the, I believe, WC belt title in the welterweight division. And first things first, I want to be able to get this out before I am able to delve deep into this matchup. Shout out to Manny Pacquiao, man. The guy is an absolute legend. 46 years old, 4 years off of boxing, comes back and puts in a 2-month training camp for Mario Barrios to jump into this title belt. Puts his career on the line, put his legacy on the line. Also, as well, puts up, if he's potentially getting knocked out and just, put out on a stretcher by Barrios, which I predicted that I believe was going to happen, and obviously that didn't. I'll get to that later. Shout out to him, man. Still with his cardio, was still there. His flashes and his speed and ability, it showed in flashes. It was every now and then, particularly his offense. It was very hit or miss. His timing was actually pretty still good. But we got to get to the nitty gritty of this one, right? If I'm Mario Barrios, what an embarrassment this was. I would be ashamed of myself if I'm Mario Barrios. I'm in my boxing career prime, and I'm going to a draw with a 46-year-old man because he's a legend and you respect him so much and you want to give him grace and you don't want to be that villain that knocks this dude out or hurts him badly or just dominates him, and now everybody hates you because you're the Manny Pacquiao killer. I mean, what an abysmal performance out of Mario Barrios, right? And I was trying to be very lenient and not saying that he was the worst champion in boxing as of right now, but there is no saving grace for you, Mario. Good God, what a oh my God. I'm gonna give myself a damn aneurysm thinking about Mario Barrios and the performance that this freaking idiot put on, man. This was so easily handed to him that I'm thinking in my mind that this could potentially be rigged for some odd reason. Right? This was, man. Huh. Mario Barrios, dude. May God be with you, brother. May God be with you, man. Good Lord. In this fight, man, God, going off on that rant, I don't even know if I can be able to. Ah, man. I know a lot of boxers in other gyms that if they got this opportunity and they took this against Manny Pacquiao, all respect and love and honor to Manny, they would have flattened him out. Cold. Sleeping, snoring, stiff as a board on the canvas. And Barrios didn't do it. Anyways, in this fight, Mario Barrios, throughout the majority of it, especially early on, Pacquiao is showing his flashes. He's offensively doing things well. He's setting his pace and his tone. After the fact, after the first 2 rounds, Barrios is starting to let go with his jab, starting to let his combinations flow a little bit more. And while he's doing this, he's starting to win rounds, and you can definitely see where Manny Pacquiao and his deficiencies, especially with his age, are absolutely there to be able to take in advantage of. What does Barrios do? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. He uses his jab, and whenever he's sticking his jab in Pacquiao's face, it's working. It continue to use it, but you didn't, right? Right. Anyways, the IQ of some of these fighters, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. After he's using his jab and he's doing all this good work and he's won about 2 rounds and it's about tied 2-2 after 4, Pacquiao is now starting to get more a little bit in his rhythm, right? He's starting to let more go in terms of the combinations. It's hitting the majority of the guard and not really landing clean, but he's still showing off his speed and whatnot. And sometimes Barrio is countering effectively, but is not really doing much in terms of output because I guess he's scared to get caught with something. I guess. Barrios, after in the post-fight interview, said that Pacquiao can still crack. I tell you, man. Anyways, and then after that, through like round 9, 6 through 9, Pacquiao is seemingly starting to be able to take, things away and really start leading and is starting to get away from Barrios because Barrios just continuously is just inactive. He's not doing much. He's not doing enough. He's not really exchanging in encounters. He's not, really initiating encounters. He offensively is not doing anything in terms of bringing real value to win rounds. He's not. And then towards the end of the last 3 rounds, from round 10 to 12, Barrios, his coach told him to stop respecting him. I don't know why you're respecting him from the onset, right? The dude signed up to fight you. Win. Win, bro. I don't know what you're doing. He has a lit under his ass because of his coach told him, and he's starting to throw more combinations. He's starting to be more aggressive. He's starting to initiate a lot more things. And defensively, you can see with the age of Pacquiao, he can be able to get out of the reach of the jab or the 1-2. He got hit with a lot of shots to the body that was effective. And you can see that the reaction time, where the timing of him offensively is completely different from where it is defensively, where defensively he can be able to get out of the way of a lot of the shots. And if he were to go against any other person, he probably would get stopped or completely dominated through 12. I'm leaning more likely to getting stopped. If this is a Lamont Roach, if this is a Tank Davis, they're not in that weight division, excuse me. If this is a Devin Haney, if this is a Ryan Garcia, if this is a Rolly Romero, if this is a Brian Norman Jr., if this is a Conor Benn, they're stopping Manny Pacquiao, man. They're getting him out of there. They're packing him up pretty easily. And Mario Barrios. Man, I should have seen it. I should have seen it from the draw from Abel Ramos. One judge had it leaning towards Barrios. Other two had it a draw. So back-to-back draws for Mario Barrios. And obviously, he did not turn down the rematch against Pacquiao. Why? Because there is so much damn money on the counter. Why not would you not turn down that fight? Anyways, this was a pretty decent card of boxing. And I was really hoping that Barrios was going to lose this one on the judges' scorecards, because I wanted to rip him a new one. I really did. But it ended up being a draw. And yeah, the main event wasn't really that good. Pacquiao, even though he had flashes offensively, looked old. And if he were to match up against any other dude in their prime as of right now, he would get stopped. He would get flattened out. And that's pretty much as simple as that. If you don't believe that, I don't know what the fuck you were watching. Right? Anyways, like this video. If you obviously like this video, comment your opinions on this PBC on Amazon Prime PPV. Whether that be the robbery of Joet Gonzalez, Isaac Pitbull Cruz back into the winner corner, Sebastian Fundora taking control and dominating in the rematch against Tszyu, and obviously the draw between Pacquiao and Barrios. Yeah. And subscribe. Subscribe if you're a boxing fan and you love this type of content and you want to be able to see more of this type of content. I'm here, and I'm always here, and I'm always going to be here. Thank you guys again for watching again, and peace.